What's up, Washington Commanders fans? Welcome back to our channel. That loss was one of those that leaves a bitter taste, one of those that makes us question everything. Because the naked truth is that we didn't lose to the Chicago Bears. We lost to ourselves. It was a succession of errors, of missed opportunities that handed over a victory that was in our hands. Today, we're going to put the frustration aside and do a cold, hard analysis of the 3 critical errors that cost us this game. Stick with me until the end, because we're going to pinpoint exactly where the team failed and what needs to change urgently so we don't jeopardize our season. The first point, and perhaps the most worrying, is something that has become a painful pattern this season: slow starts. For the 4th time, we found ourselves in a double-digit deficit early in the game. It's like watching the same movie repeated every week. This constant need to have to pull off heroic comebacks puts unnecessary pressure on all sectors of the team, and it's simply not a sustainable formula for winning games in the NFL. This points directly to the preparation and the initial game plan, something that the coaching staff needs to resolve once and for all. And when you start behind on the scoreboard, the pressure on your defense increases exponentially. Each play becomes more critical, and that's when individual errors start to appear. The problem of missed tackles came back to haunt us in a brutal way. We saw an improvement in this fundamental last week, which gave us hope. But against the Bears, the failure was decisive. The play that completely changed the course of the game, DeAndre Swift's touchdown, was born from a missed tackle that couldn't have happened at a worse time. That play was a summary of our night. It was a 3rd down and long, a moment for the defense to step up and give the ball back to our offense. All that needed to be done was to force the player out of bounds. But a poor approach and a communication breakdown resulted in a 55-yard touchdown that nullified our entire reaction. It was a play of lack of concentration and effort that simply cannot happen at a professional level, and that cost dearly, undermining the confidence of the entire defensive unit. As if that wasn't enough, the final blow came in the form of turnovers. It's practically impossible to win a game in the NFL when you lose that battle 3-0. We literally gave the victory as a gift to the opponent. The 2 turnovers in consecutive drives at the beginning of the game were responsible for digging the hole we got ourselves into. But even after all that, the team fought, reacted, and managed to build an 8-point lead, showing incredible resilience. When it seemed like we were in control, with the ball in our hands and the chance to run out the clock to secure the victory, the most devastating mistake of the night happened. A fumble on a handoff between Jaden Daniels and the running back with just a few minutes left. It was a cold shower. Handing the ball over to the opponent at that point in the game was fatal. They didn't waste the chance, advanced down the field, and kicked the field goal that sealed our defeat in the last second. Now, with a record of 3 wins and 3 losses, the road ahead becomes even more challenging. We have 2 away games against tough opponents, the Dallas Cowboys and the Kansas City Chiefs. If these 3 fundamental problems, slow starts, missed tackles, and lack of ball security, aren't fixed immediately, the next few weeks could be very long and difficult for us. The team needs to look in the mirror and find answers, as the time for excuses is over. If you're also worried and want to closely follow whether the team will be able to correct these mistakes, subscribe to the channel and leave your comment below telling me which of these 3 problems worries you the most. This leads us to a final reflection and a question that hangs in the air. We see the same mistakes repeating week after week, despite promises that things will change. This makes us question whether we are only dealing with failures of execution by the players on the field, or whether these recurring problems are, in fact, a symptom of a deeper and more systemic issue related to the preparation and philosophy of our coaching staff. Now, we all felt that punch to the gut when victory slipped through our fingers. We saw a crucial mistake, a play that changed the entire course of the game. But today, we're not just going to focus on what happened on the field. We're going to analyze what happened afterward, in the press room, when our young quarterback faced the microphones. Jaden Daniels' words after the game reveal much more about the future of this team. Stick with me, because what he said may be the most important sign we received all season. We were in control. With only a few minutes left, with possession of the ball, the feeling was that we were finally going to seal the victory and avenge the defeat from last season. The offensive campaign was flowing, and the team seemed confident to manage the clock and secure the result. It was at that exact moment, when hope was at its peak, that the unexpected happened. A fumble on the exchange, and all the momentum we had built so hard simply disappeared, handing the victory on a silver platter to the opponent. Facing the press after such a devastating moment is one of the most difficult tests for any athlete, especially for a rookie quarterback. Many would look for excuses, perhaps mentioning the weather conditions or the pressure of the moment, but Jaden Daniels did none of that. He sat down in front of the cameras and took full and complete responsibility for the play. He was clear in saying that it was entirely his fault, that he didn't even give his teammate a chance to hold the ball. This attitude is rare and extremely valuable. This demonstration of leadership is something that doesn't appear in the statistics, but that builds the foundation of a winning team. By publicly taking the blame, He protected his teammates and showed the entire locker room that responsibility begins and ends with him. He acknowledged that losing the turnover battle is a recipe for defeat in the NFL and gave credit to the opposing defense. If you also believe that this attitude of a true leader is what will lead us to victories in the future, show your support by subscribing to the channel and leaving your comment about his stance. Now the team faces a brutal stretch of away games against very strong opponents. The defeat was painful, but the way our leader responded to it may be the catalyst we needed. He learned the hard way that every play counts. The question that lingers, and which will define our path, isn't whether he'll recover from the mistake, because we know he will. The real question is, will this public display of total accountability, born from such a costly error, be exactly the type of leadership that will solidify the trust and discipline needed to win these next tough games?